Three, two, one. Hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our podcast, our show today on my channel and wherever else Sarah and I choose to share this. And I'd like to
Yes.
welcome my fantastic, amazing guest, Sarah, or UFO Girly, as I know you from across social media. Welcome, Sarah.
Yes. Hi, well, thank you for the amazing welcome. Yep, my name's Sarah, aka UFO Girly. John, it's amazing to be on your show again. Thank you so much for the invite again. I know we have lots to talk about.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Um, and yeah, we've met once before, and we were having a chat all about your journey. And of course, you
Yes.
can share as much as you want about your journey. But if people really want, like, I think it was at least an hour finding more about you
Oh,
in
yeah.
detail, please do look that up, or if I remember, I will add the link to that video as
Yeah.
well to this one.
Oh, that would be amazing.
And Sarah and I were chatting after we last met, and we thought that felt it would be a great idea to start sharing both through some of our experiences and practices and our worlds, our universes, about how to help people prepare for, or if they choose to, uh, and also attract in contact with beings from across this universe. Um, and it's a lovely
Yes.
subject to introduce, and then I'm like, oh, now what do I say? Um,
I
and
know.
I and I was thinking I wanted to share an experience I had this morning to start with, which
Ooh.
was so I go out for a morning run, live in Scotland, and I live in a little town down by the sea. It's about 30 miles east of the capital of Edinburgh. Um, and I so I mean Scotland's all very everything's very small, so you can literally like out of our town you can run for like 10 minutes and you're into the countryside. And I turn around, so I do a bit of a loop, and I turn around from a nearby village, and I start to run back a few miles. And I was thinking, oh yeah, I'm on that. I'm doing like a podcast with Sarah today. I'll practice what I was practicing in a meditation, which I think I released it last week, which is about how to. It's a guided meditation to help you invite in your galactic brothers and sisters into your skies. And so I started that while I was running, and and then I was looking at there's this beautiful sunrise. This is about 6 a.m. And this beautiful sunrise, and I just said initially to my guides, then I was being a bit braver, and it's like, okay, also to any of my Galactic Federation brothers and sisters that are in the neighborhood and would like to show me a sign that they're here, please say hello. And like I can only describe it as, you know, that effect where something was clearly there already, but you just didn't
Hmm.
see it. What appeared to me was this really large, long, with some form to it, uh, dark cloud, which was so strange
Oh,
because the dark
yes.
cloud was up against the sunrise. And I'm looking at it like, so, you know, if you didn't understand how clouds work
Yes.
or even how light works, you'd be looking at it going, it's a sunrise and there's cloud. What of it? But it's like, how did it maintain its darkness in such light? And
Yes.
and so I asked and said, what can you tell me what that is? Is that a ship? Maybe you could make the ship like flash a light in it. And my guides just said to me, they said, John, it's a giant UFO shaped cloud. What else do you want?
What else do
and
you want?
and then I said, well, and I always remembered. So this echoes in my mind and my heart. Whenever I watch any of your videos, Sarah, you're always saying, beautiful, beautiful,
Hmm.
beautiful. And so I started saying that as I'm running. I was like, beautiful, beautiful
Yay.
guys. And I said, thank you so much. Thank you for both trying. Thank you for
Oh,
investing the energy and showing up for me. And then in that moment, like exactly the same thing happened, but another, like a second, like large ship, very dark shaped cloud appeared not far behind it. And I
oh
was like,
yeah.
wow, there's a second one. That's amazing. It's like, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Um,
They love to cloak themselves in cloud formations. They actually
it's
did that for me too. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. And yeah, I wanted. I wanted to share a bit of that because that experience because it seems to happen all the time, right? That we are
Hmm.
it's like we're being if we choose to, if we're ready and we have an open heart and feeling safe enough to
Yes.
receive, we can invite these things in, but they're not always the way we'd expect it, and especially not the ways that we might see it in
Yes.
movies or even some of the more popular, sensationalized UFO or UAP or whatever other names they're being given. Um, these labels that we put on it. And the interaction, it's hard to describe the interaction. Like it's like almost like a big energetic transaction. It's like there's a start, there's like preparation, a start, and then you ask, and
Yeah.
then something happens, and you're like, yes, that was
Yes.
amazing, thank you. And they're
Yes.
always watching.
Communication.
Yeah.
They're always watching. They're always here. They're always here. Oh, it makes me emotional even. Because they tell me this. They point right here and
Mm.
they tell me always, even if you cannot see us in the sky, we are here. And they always point to their heart to me.
Oh,
Because sometimes like I'm going through a dry spell right now, and that happens only because um I'm in this rural area right now in
mm.
Iowa, northeastern Iowa, and I've never experienced this rural before. And
Yeah.
I film in a field and they're spraying chemicals.
Oh, wow.
So I'm so sensitive to that stuff that even if I get near where I usually film, where the golden orbs, appear and everything like that,
Yeah.
I get an instant headache and I
Mm.
cannot stay in that area. So
Wow.
they said just have patience right now at this time and just rest right now.
Yeah.
Um so yeah, that's it's sad, but they always say, and to everybody else as well, we're right here. We're always here, even if you think of us and you're calling upon us in meditation or anything of that nature. We are here. We're with you.
Yeah.
So start communicating with them.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's fabulous. And yeah, it's like my skin started itching as soon as you said
Yeah.
these chemicals, and I think also the energy behind it
Yes.
as well is quite there's this like kind of darker aspect of it.
Yeah.
um
And mhm. I
go
even
ahead.
tried to walk there because it's been like almost a week since um this happened, and since they sprayed, I think, pneumonia and some other
Okay.
things to kill, like, the stuff before they start planting.
Mm,
And it was like this hand, like pushing me back. It hit my nose, and I'm
mm,
like, no, I want to go see him.
yeah.
I want to go film and everything else. I'll deal with it. um but they said no, and they kind of, I could feel the push, like,
Hmm.
this is toxic. This is
Yeah.
toxic,
It's
Sarah.
dangerous. Yeah.
You have to kind of step back. So
um and yeah, thank you for sharing that because as a fellow human, I often get frustrated by things like
oh
when I get
yes.
told to wait, or
Yes.
or
Oh
more
my
specifically, I
gosh.
get told to prepare, but I hear wait.
Yes.
I hear like join the queue, John,
Yes.
or you're not ready, and I'm
Mhm.
like, I'm so ready. Um, and I feel like so much of this affects us as an individual, but also as a collective, as a human race. Like we are, many of us are hungry to receive. If someone's come across this
Yes.
video and maybe they've never seen this
I am
before,
always that way. I am always that way. They're
and
like,
maybe they
calm down.
that's right, they just want to grab their phone or something with higher quality and like point it out the
Yes.
window and or see something land on their lawn, right?
Yes. Oh, I do
Um
all the time. I
or
want that all the time.
knock at the door. Um
Yes.
and then and I think I feel there's also then this reality of like thankfully the many of the beings that choose to uh, either prepare us or have already begun with each of us with their own level of contact, that they can see when we're feel when we're ready, um,
Yes.
because it
They
feels
know
like
all.
it's a bit
They
like
know all.
when I came out the psychic. closet and I
Yes.
started, I left my corporate job and I started my business, that I wanted it so badly for at least a couple of years
Yes.
before then, but I wasn't ready. Like it would have, um, I wouldn't have been able to integrate, or I
Absolutely.
wouldn't be able to hold together, you know, relationships or paying the bills or personal hygiene. I don't know, whatever else
Oh
would have just,
yeah,
I would have just like
whatever. Yeah.
hidden in a corner and I'd be like, "Oh, this is too
Well,
much,
they're yeah,
it's too much at
they
once."
never give you more than what you can take, and they always do it in, breadcrumbs type
Hmm.
of way, like a breadcrumby way. That
Yeah.
sounds bad, but for our growth, I can look back and like, oh, why didn't all this stuff happen then? Because I wasn't ready.
Hmm.
We are always where we need to be right now. We are
Yeah.
where we need to be right now, and I have to tell myself that all the time. My guides tell me that all the time. They tell me that all the time. Like, calm down, it's okay.
Yeah.
You're exactly where you need to be.
Yeah.
Don't rush. You're fine. Be patient, all these things.
And
Because
we're like,
yeah.
but we're human and we want it now, now, now.
Yes. And I always talk to him. I'm like, I you do understand that I am human, right? We have these emotions, and these hormones, and we don't want to wait. But they do understand that. They do.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
yeah.
and I like I wanted to introduce some I guess recent reflections I've had on the subject of UFOs and UAPs and
Hmm.
alien. I actually don't like the word so much. I prefer to
Oh
use the word
no. Oh,
galactic.
I'm so
Um,
glad you don't. I am so glad. Let's talk about that soon too.
yeah. Um, the so I don't know if I mentioned this before, but my journey with UFOs started just after YouTube was born. So back in the early, it was 2000 something, right? And
Hmm.
I remember watching these videos, and how would I describe it? There was an aspect of intrigue, mystery, and also some like blended with a bit of fear. And
Yeah.
I began to get quite excited whenever I saw like pictures of UFOs and videos, and I was always intrigued. And back then, like
Yes.
the, even phones weren't very popular, so there's a lot of very low quality videos,
Yes.
many of them, and so I just kept watching for what felt like decades. And I think more laterally, I was like interested in things like ghosts and paranormal and anything mysterious. And I think
Yep.
at, at the heart of many of us is
Same.
just an excitement about the mystery of the
The
universe. This kind of
mystery. That's
this
exactly what it
magical
is.
mystery. What
Mhm.
is it? What's out there?
Mhm.
What are all these things? And and then I went in 2017, November 2017. I went through my last big awakening, and I started meditating each day. And only within 2 weeks, I started talking to my spirit guides. I didn't know much about spirit guides. In fact, I was just intrigued what they were, and that's why I asked to talk to mine. And then I just did that every day. And 900 days later, because I was writing songs from lyrics each day, I realized that not only could I do it regularly and that I learned how to psychically channel spirit guides, but that they also weren't just from um, Earth. In fact, I think
Yes.
only one of them is, and even their last life before that was Andromeda. And it fascinated me that I had done this, I'd achieved this thing that I think I always wanted to do. I wanted to talk to galactic beings. Other people might use the A word, but it's like for me, it felt I kind of went through this epiphany. I realizing that I'm just as galactic as they are. Like I just
Yes.
like my guides have been, I'm starting to remember past lives. They're just memories are coming through during the day and sometimes in dreams, or if I booked someone to take me through it, like a hypnosis session or a healing session. And just yesterday, I was watching. I don't know if you ever watch any of this stuff on YouTube, but there's a guy called Ross Coulthart who does shows on News Nation, and he was
Oh no, I
talking
never watched the news.
um, he's it's not really it's I guess it's alternative
Oh,
news you could describe it as.
oh, okay.
And he was describing the journey, his journey of UFO and UAP chasing through
Oh,
to spirituality. And this bridge in between
oh, I
was
love
as
that.
more of the more recent uh disclosures, if you like. I don't think they're intentional, or they might be, of psionics. So these are just the kind of latest term
Oh,
for
I've been
psychic,
hearing that.
yeah,
Yeah.
for psychically gifted people that are practicing
Yes.
meditations to both
Mm-hmm.
connect with galactic beings in different ships, and then also to interact, to contact them, summon them, and then have interactions. And as a presenter, as a journalist, it was so fascinating watching him. And it was the first time him saying that it's connected. I was like, of
Yes.
course it's connected, John. Like you've literally been on that
Absolutely.
journey yourself.
Yes.
And it's
Yes.
so easy to kind of compartmentalize and say, oh, that's something else. That's
Yeah.
that was the old me who didn't really understand what's going on in the universe. And yeah, I'd love
Yeah. A
to
lot
hear.
of, yeah, go, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And I'm fascinated to hear from you about, um, for example, like how you summon or invite in, or create safe
Mm-hmm.
spaces to attract in um, galactic ships
Oh,
and beings.
it's
Um,
so great that you asked that. Or sorry, are you
yeah, go ahead, go ahead. You can tell the excitement from
sorry?
us both.
Yeah. We're like, who wants to talk? Yeah, that's very, very nice that you would bring that up. I don't do like a CE5 meditation or anything like that. I They always told me that they see through my eyes. Now, whether that's with, I don't think I'm chipped or anything else,
Mhm.
but what I have downloaded was some people on this planet have these lights, and well, there's many of us that
Yeah.
have these lights, and they actually have like a system where they have these, you can see the lights, the consciousness of
Mhm.
these individuals, and they're able, we're able to just come down, they're able to come down, and when we ask, and I see that too. And downloaded to me as knowledge, thoughts. When I say see, it comes in like, when you receive messages, sometimes
Mhm.
they have a picture attached.
Yeah.
And that's how it works for me. Like any
Mhm.
thoughts or feelings, sometimes it'll attach like a picture. And what I see is just like, this computer screen. It's probably not it, but it's like this galactic, like computer screen, and it has all these dots,
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone else has heard of that, but it's like these lights that are lit up, where
Mhm.
these people with higher consciousness, and I don't want to put myself out there as being one of them. Use your own discernment, but um, I am. I believe I am one of these people. Um,
Yeah.
but they also say that they can see through my eyes, so I just tell them, like, "Hey, I'm on my way to our spot."
Yeah.
And there's certain times that they come for me, and I've
Mhm.
been hearing that actually a lot lately with other people, other experiencers. But what I know, and that they have told me, is for other people as well. And these are practices I do every single day.
Yeah.
So very, if you are not seeing them already, because there are some people who have seen them with their heart closed,
Mhm.
and later in time they have been taught to open it.
Yeah.
So one of the number one things is to really open that heart center. Do guided meditations, ask God or source to come into your heart. That may sound weird and not in a religious manner, but in a spiritual way.
Mhm.
ask Jesus to come into your heart, that Christ consciousness to come into your heart. All these
Yeah.
ways are going to work. And sorry, I'm looking at my notes. And I started to meditate every day
Mm,
years ago after my awakening. I was guided to start meditating every day.
yeah.
And I'm also praying a lot. So, like praying in the morning before you get out of bed, praying at night, just basically anything to raise your vibration and frequency.
Yeah.
Eating light foods. And I'm not saying everybody has to do this, I
Mhm.
do it. And I believe all of that I do every day, my daily spiritual practice, all of that every day really leads to the amount of things I see in the sky.
Yeah.
So meditation every day, journaling every day, taking the time um, to sit in my own stillness and connect, with the universe, with my own guides, with my family and friends, and also, the praying and the affirmations I do all day, every day. Um, and also my diet. It's now I don't expect every we don't expect everybody to do this, but
Mhm.
when I had a spiritual awakening, one of the things my guide said that I had to get rid of was any kind of meat, dairy, gluten, and things of that nature. So eating very light, and even though like I probably don't look like I eat light,
Well, great.
but uh I'm trying to eat a lot of protein right now just because
Mhm.
I lift weights and stuff and I'm very active. So also doing that, moving your body, getting that
Yeah.
energy flowing. So
Mhm.
yeah, just basically raising your vibration and opening that heart center will get they'll be like talking to them,
Yeah.
communicating with them, sitting in stillness, they'll be right there.
Oh, I
You'll
love
go
it.
outside and you will see them. or
Yeah.
even or even have a personal experience, in your room
Mhm.
like
Yeah,
I
that's so
did.
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I second all those things. I think
Hmm.
it really helps me with a daily meditation practice because
Yes.
in many respects it's the longest, you could argue it's the longest period when I'm awake in the day where I'm receiving. Um, and just receiving like that space and allowing the energy just to thoughts to flow,
Yes.
not to block, but just let them observe them, let them flow on. And I also ask my guides for messages each day, and they often provide really well. They always provide beautiful guidance, which I'm very grateful for. Um, and yeah, I a lot of what you're saying about I'd call it like spiritual and energetic hygiene, like paying attention to
Yes.
to diet. I haven't given up
Yes.
gluten or but I don't eat meat. That was one thing.
Hmm.
It was the first thing that I chose
Yes.
to release, in part related to the trauma of the animals that we put them through at the
Yes.
moment of death that is then
Hmm.
held within the meat. But you know,
Absolutely.
we all get to choose, right? We all have to make these decisions. But I think increasing
Oh,
the
yes.
awareness is helpful. Um,
Hmm.
and another thing is also that I like our addiction to fear. Like fear is addictive, right? It's like,
Oh,
oh, I'm
yes.
scared,
Yes.
and we
Yes.
will look at our phones. I know this because I maybe I still do it sometimes. I don't know, but I used to do it a lot. And I look at my phone, scrolling through. It's like, oh, look at that, it's terrible, and it, like scrolling through. It's like, and it'd be news or social media or someone telling me something bad is
Yes.
happening,
Oh my gosh.
and I would just
Get rid of
feel,
it. Get rid of
yeah,
it.
unfollow, unsubscribe, and
Yeah.
or you can also do things like restrict. You don't need
Yeah, and
to
just
necessarily
clean up
clean up.
your surroundings and your environment. Clean up
Yeah,
your environment.
clean up your room, right?
Yeah, clean up your room. Yeah. Well, clean up what you're seeing,
Yeah,
and what's coming through your energy field. You have
yeah,
to really clean that up and make, yeah. spiritual hygiene. That's so good. The
Yeah.
spiritual hygiene, um, how
And
you
you
worded that.
like you're talking about an open heart. And some of these things were really concepts we're really used to, right? So if you're literally in a fight or flight moment where you're physically under
Yes.
attack, you'll do this, right? You'll close your
Mm-hmm.
eyes, or you'll cover your head, and you'll it's like all your chakras, your whole body, and you kind of go
They're
like
all
this,
blocked.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you block yourself. And
Yes.
and just because our arms are down and our eyes are open doesn't mean that the same physical and energetic sensation that it isn't still going on inside of us. Um, and when you're scared, all of your abilities, and I don't just mean psychic abilities, but any ability to think clearly, calmly, it like disappears, right? Because it's like your eyes,
So
like when
tight.
I always see
Yeah.
people's in
Yes.
their chakras when they're in fear, like the heart's like squeeze closed, like their
Oh,
their eyes
yeah.
are squeezed closed.
And it's even still so hard for me to think about them in a fear way. Like
Mm,
I think, oh, what are you scared about? Because I'm just so used to the love. And I have to understand that people don't there's so many people that have not experienced them and are
mhm.
still in this fear state with them.
Yeah,
And well, I'm here to tell you that there's nothing to fear. There is
yeah,
absolutely nothing to fear. If they wanted to blow us up or get rid of us, they would have a long, long time ago.
yeah. We wouldn't
None
we
of
wouldn't be
that's
here.
going to happen.
That's right.
They're actually doing things to help us that we cannot see.
Mhm.
A ton of things to assist us. Yeah, that we can't even see. So they are helping in lots of ways.
Definitely. Um, and I was gonna talk a little. I keep on looking at the window because it's like
No, it's
I've, I've,
beautiful out
I've been
there.
being distracted. Um, I'd love to talk a little bit about like a segue on from our own personal vibration to some of the things that are going on in the planet, and also galactic federations and any other
Hmm.
councils or federations. But before I do, you did mention just before that you had a message for me.
I do. Oh, yes. So
How
I
exciting!
I wrote it down and I was sitting here like on the couch with my dog and I heard you're gonna channel John. Like he needs a message. Either you're not hearing it or
Mhm. Maybe.
so and you just let me know, if it resonates.
Yeah.
Basically there's some so I will start, and this is actually from your guides.
Mhm.
Now I saw three main ones. So does that resonate? Three?
Yeah. Yeah. There's three that are very active right now.
Okay, so there's three main ones that were as a collective. So speaking
Mhm.
as a collective, and I will start reading, and it's just a little page, it's not too much. Um, all right. So our dearest brother of light, we come to you today as a support system, as love, as your guides. Our message today is clear. Rest is needed for your growth. If you are feeling tired or having any health concerns, the answer is rest. Rest, as you know, is an essential part of this work and this light process. It heals and it fuels the soul. It renews and rejuvenates the soul, adding more lightness to the soul. We ask this of you in a loving and caring way. You are an important asset to this collective consciousness during this time. It is important that you care for yourself and you take breaks when needed. We understand the struggles that you feel with disconnectment or boredom. Do not fear. A breakthrough is coming. You will be recognized for all of your hard work and dedication. Release all fears and self sabotaging. Um, Release all fears and self sabotaging thoughts, as abundance in all forms will be on the way. Remember, you are always loved, you are always supported, and you are always being guided. We love you, John. Your guides.
Oh, oh, thank you, Sarah, and thank you to my
You're
guides.
welcome.
Um, it's just completely spot on. Um,
Yeah.
the three guides are Maya, who is a sister of Gaia.
Okay.
She's an elemental being, and she was the one before that, who lived in Andromeda. Marita, who's my Mantis guide, she's very active right now, Galactic Federation. And then my Lyran guide, Eminshell, who I do a lot of work, especially with entity removals. And they've been saying this to me, just that voice has been getting louder from them for, especially in the last few days, because I had this huge peak of work, of like client sessions, which is amazing, which I was kind of trying, have been balancing through to the end of last month. The message comes at a perfect time because
Oh,
it's now like,
good.
okay, John, like, because I've already, even though I'm booked out for months, I've drastically reduced the workload
Oh,
to
good. So
gain
you
more
are
rest.
listening. So
I
you are
am
listening
I am
somewhat,
listening,
somewhat.
but somewhat, and I think there's definitely an end of that cycle. And I think, that was the message I got. In fact, it was, I was asking them today, and they said the, the far shorter version of what you said was just it. You if you take on too much, if we give you too much now,
Yes.
you're gonna just exhaust yourself. So you've got to get rest and create capacity.
Their concern is health issues.
Mm-hmm.
So that is what I got from them is being overly active
Yeah,
in so much that you forget to rest
yeah,
and take a break when you need to take a break. And s I know I'm very conscious of it because it'll tell me, like, being extremely empathic,
mm.
it'll tell me, my body will tell me, like, "No, you're not even getting on social media today."
Yeah, yeah. And I
So,
think that's really great advice.
but with you doing what everything that you're doing, I can see how it would be so hard for you to take a break because you feel like um people need this information and I need to be doing something about it.
Yeah,
But they're telling you it is okay to rest, John. It's okay.
it's okay. Thank you for that gift. It's really
Yes.
kind. Um, and yeah, I feel, for example, I worked yesterday developing an advanced training course. It's like, why? And I just, it was like,
Oh
why
my
did I work that
gosh.
Sunday? Why did I work a Sunday when, and I'd also been away training, Saturday
Oh,
doing
this is
Swedish
very
massage.
fitting.
And it's like, today is a 14-hour day. And it's like, John, I know that's too much. Um, so I think
Yeah.
it's a powerful,
And you
reminder.
Good, because I've been recently getting back into channeled messages. I
Mhm,
used to do it when I used to do readings a bunch and that. I used to write it down for people, and then literally, I think I just forgot, or that my ETs came, and I was just focused on that. But now they're having me coming back to channeling in
mhm.
automatic writing and things of that nature, which is very exciting.
Yeah.
There's this collective. I got a name the other day, which is very weird. I had forgot it at first, and I said, "Can you remind me?"
Mhm,
Because I was telling a friend, like, "Hey, you know, um, they came through, and their name has us in it, like us, US."
mhm,
And so their name, and I heard very clearly the second time after I asked, after I forgot, is
mhm.
"You are us."
You
Like
are us.
you, and then I saw the spelling
Mhm.
you, and like Toys R Us. It was just
Yeah.
very strange.
Wow.
Like the U and then R-U-S. So
Mhm,
you are us. And I was like, oh wow. So it's just basically a collective. I don't know if it's extraterrestrials or
mhm.
what at this point. I have to do more inside work and more stillness. And my intention has to be just on that,
Yeah.
and it hasn't in the past couple days. But now I'm going to really work on that channeling.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah,
Yeah,
I did have a, I felt like it was a council approaching me, and I was like, I've never heard of you. Like, and it seems such a silly thing to say. It's like, but it's a really big universe, John. Um,
it
and
is.
there's many, and sometimes we're a bit of, maybe it's an aspect of fear, is we're afraid of saying something new. You know, if you're watching this and you've got this far in the video, you might be aware of things like Arcturians and Palladians and
Yes.
reptilians and loads
Hmm.
of different beings. A lot of, not all, but a lot of these beings are like quite local.
Oh,
And
yes.
it's like our neighbors. And even
Hmm.
Gaia, our planet, knows, like, she sees them in the night sky. She knows them,
Oh,
like they're
yes,
like the
yes.
friends and family.
Hmm.
And yet to us, to many of us, it's like, whoa, you're so far away. And yet there are, through space and time,
Yes.
it seems to be that Earth's ascension is like a linchpin in the um in the ascension of this universe. And so we attract a lot of attention from around the universe. But I've seen recently in client sessions is that a lot of the galactic ships are like forming a circle around, like a ring around the
Hmm.
outside of our galaxy, because they know that just their consciousness alone and their awareness coming too close. And I think it's more like, if they think about us too much, or because the distance is almost irrelevant, right? But it's like, the closer we are consciously, the more we interfere, you know, unintentionally with each other. Um, but it's a very loving feeling. It feels like always wanting the highest, good for us, and wanting to support, gently nurture our own ascension. Um, and we could spend a whole year
Oh,
talking about
yes. Oh my
our
gosh.
Earth's ascension, but I was really fascinated in, um, it seems to be interlinked, right? Just like my own personal journey of resting plenty and raising my vibration is also Earth's ascension, and how, as we raise our vibration, often many of us, to match what already exists on Earth,
Hmm.
in the fifth dimension. Um, I was interested in your experience of that ascension journey, both of yourself and the planets, and how that has an interplay, an interest at very least, with our galactic brothers and sisters.
My ascension process, as in
Yeah,
when I first started out,
but also
um,
of the planet. Yeah.
of the planet. Oh, you know what? In every day, I'm going to talk about the planet every
Mm.
day in my prayer, um, and in meditations. Almost every day, I will surround the earth with so much light. And I ask that, they fill this earth and bring down so many light frequencies and raise the consciousness and raise the awareness on this planet. So really, visualizing this earth,
Mm.
full of just amazing light and love. And I know it sounds cliche, you know
No, we need
but that
it.
we need it. That is where we're going towards. That's our ascension. So really filling the earth with so much love, so much light, consciousness, so we can raise that awareness. I know it sounds
Yeah,
like I'm talking in circles, but it's all connected.
yeah,
Everything is connected. And you know, in I mean, it just falls right into also with the ETs too, and I call them ETs, extraterrestrials. That's
mm,
just what they have me call them.
yeah.
Not aliens. We are the aliens. If you want to
Right,
say
yeah,
anything, we are the aliens. But the ascension. I um, it's all connected. It's all the same. Like
yeah.
um, I don't know. It's all the same.
I love it. And I love, like, the way you said also, we are the aliens. It was funny, just after
Yes.
um my awakening in 2017. That's one of the first phrases I remember saying. I was like, hang on, and I just lost interest in UFOs. I was like, not interested because I'm an alien. So why am I going to like look at, I don't know, pilots all day? It's like whatever.
Yeah.
But I hadn't, you know, now I'm more of a journey of integrating all those parts and realizing actually all those experiences in my life are relevant.
Oh, there's so
Um,
many.
and it, for me, the Earth's ascension feels like the reason it's so impactful across the universe is there's something very unique. I mean, all souls, including Mother Gaia and Mother Earth, are unique. But there's something about this planet where it, Gaia, as both as her energetic and conscious choices, has this ability to hold this like whole frequency of darkness to light, but it's just incredibly broad. And and yes, right now, especially in the third dimensional Earth, it is dominated by one side, by the darkness. And then
Hmm.
there's this there's this light that also exists on the same frequency, on the same spectrum. And that it's not just Gaia, right? It's all of us. All of
Yes.
us here on Earth have the same frequency range. We're children of this planet. And what I see is my guides explained to me is that our history, and some of that's like the we are the aliens point, which is that
Hmm.
we've some of it was conscious and some of it was accidental, where ETs and galactic beings were, breeding with us, both, just
Hmm.
consensually as partners, but
Yes.
then as also,
Yes.
there was also more scientific work done. Um, and in that, I don't think what anyone quite realized was happening was this kind of quantum interconnectedness. This, like, we entangled ourselves with many other galactic races around us, as well as us already having a very broad frequency range. And I think that was part of the reason why they were interested in us. It's like, look at you guys, you're like
Well,
super
yeah.
evil and super beautiful and light at the same
Hmm.
time, and everything in between. We would love to be, part of that. And it's almost how to describe it. It's like we create this huge funnel that's capturing the the connections with like trillions of souls across this universe as we ascend, or as each of us choose to step more into our light and more into our love.
Yes.
And it
Yes.
seems
And
why they're more interested in us more than just some busy ants,
well,
making a bit of a
yes.
mess on Earth. Yeah.
That's how kind of I would liken it as an anthill, right?
Mhm.
As them watching like us come out of, the
Especially me.
ground and, yes, yes, like little ants. They don't think of us like we would think of ants.
Mhm.
They think of us as loving, caring beings. They see the good in us.
Yeah,
They know our potential, and that is to be a powerful being and to remember who we truly are.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, they actually seeded this planet, long, 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 long ago. They they've seeded this planet, and that's why we're an experiment, basically. We're one of
Mhm.
their experiments. And this experiment this time, though, is not going to end in devastation.
Mhm.
It may look like that right now, but
Yeah,
the future is very bright. You know, um, it's not going to be all peace and love, and none of us are all peace and love. We always have that duality of positive and negative, light and dark. Each one of us has those different facets of us.
yeah.
I know I do. I'm not spiritual 24/7. I mean, I am spiritual 24/7, but I also
Everything's
get
spiritual.
upset. Everything
Yeah.
is, yes, but I also get upset sometimes,
Mhm. Plus
at
one.
certain things, and you are allowed that.
That's right. We can still be human.
You can still be human, and they understand that too. They
Yeah.
understand we're human. Sometimes we make mistakes or things of that nature. But yeah, they're watching us. They're helping us and assisting us. Um, yeah. So.
It's fantastic. And it, like you, my view of ancient history is so different to what still exists. Although I think it's getting even beyond, well beyond the conspiracy, well, supposed conspiracy theories, which are lightly just, just more on the fringe of accepted science, you could describe it as. I think what I've seen, and I remember past lives like they were yesterday, of like they go back to about 38,000 years ago, and I know that's not the start. And
Oh, no, no, that's
and
not
I
the
was
start.
no,
No,
in fact,
no.
I was Lyran, and then later part Lyran, part human in those lifetimes, and I was like,
Wow.
that was late, that was in ancient Egypt. Um, the the other fascinating thing is that um, we like there's God in us, right? There's source, there's God, whatever your belief
Mhm.
system, whatever your
Mhm.
belief of the highest love or
Yes,
consciousness in the universe,
100%.
it's within all of us, and it's almost
Yes, it
like
is.
they are our galactic brothers and sisters are looking at us, seeing ourselves going through a lot of fear and turmoil. And many people watching this will see that and feel the fear that's going on in the collective right now. And yet, from the outside looking in, we look like gods that are terrified of something bigger than them. And it's like there's nothing bigger than
Yes.
us, right? We're just
No.
all equal across this
We're
universe.
all equal, and that's really what they want to say as well. They are not gods. They don't want to be looked at as gods. We
Mhm.
are all equal, and Jesus even says it as well,
That's right.
that walk with me,
Mhm.
walk beside me.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, it's, um, yeah, just one big happy family.
Exactly. Yeah. I love it. And I had this question for myself a couple of days ago, which was, did had I ever considered that this either I might fail my mission here to help
Mm.
harmonize, balance darkness and light, help the whole planet raise vibrations. And
I
it
don't think
was
that's
like,
gonna
and I was
happen.
like, I just don't like of all the things that I'm not so sure about in this life. That is one thing that is just an how to describe it, like an undeniable fact. Like for me, it is just a truth that exists for me.
Hmm.
And then I more recently, um, especially when I'm doing client sessions and helping people, and those moments where I connect in with the collective and they're like, oh, I wonder what's going on in the world, in politics, whatever. And I do find it hard, right? It's hard to not care and then go in and try to connect with and understand at least how other people might be feeling about it. But in those moments, I see that there is a lower vibration version of
Hmm.
Earth forming, and
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
that we're right now we're intertwined. And so I don't. We were talking a little bit about this on this lovely sunset. Um, we were talking a little bit about this before we started, which is that on the Earth, um, we have these like vibrational bubbles. So when we're talking about, oh, I kind of live in my own little bubble, like we do, right? We
Yes.
absolutely do, and it's because we generate these big vibrational bubbles around us, and I consciously do it around me, and then around my home, and then every morning, then around the Earth, and then around the solar system and the galaxy and the whole universe. And what I love about that journey is that I see more and more, neighbors that have ignored me for years would just say, "Hi, John," in the morning,
Yes.
and their dogs like coming over to say hello, and the birds are singing at me, or they're like walking up to me and looking at me, like
Oh, yeah, it's because
what?
you're
Yeah,
attracting
that's right.
when you raise your vibration, you attract these good experiences.
Yeah,
It's universal law that when you raise your vibration and frequency to the highest level of love and gratitude, that you attract these amazing experiences. And yeah, there is a split going on right now, and I think anyone who's watching this video probably knows,
mm,
about this split of negative and light, dark and light.
yeah,
That is definitely happening right now. So you may be experiencing, that in your home life. Um,
yeah,
Getting rid of anything that no longer serves you, and it could be relationships, anything like that. So
yeah,
that's happening right now, and it's going to continue to happen. um and some people aren't meant to go in the direction of light because we need
Yeah,
that balance.
that's right.
Um, and we
Yeah.
also have to embrace that darkness as well.
Hmm.
So,
And I think also, um, the motivation behind some of it, especially a lot of the actions we see in the now ever becoming the legacy mainstream media, is that there is definitely an energy of self-destruction, like intentional destruction. And I think some it's easy to look at it and go, "Oh, I'm scared of that." And then the next thing is, "Oh, I'm scared of maybe the intentions behind what these people are doing." It's like, well, feel into that a bit further. Like, do you really think
yes.
that they have your best interests at heart? That they have the world's best interests at heart? What do you think they're really trying to do? And every time I ask my guides about it, I get the same answer every time, which is, um, it is intentional destruction, and it is making a mess on the way out. It's like the
Oh,
angry
I believe,
teenager,
yes,
smash
I
up the room
absolutely,
before you leave the room.
yes. That's what they're really doing is they know it, they're falling. They
Hmm.
know that the darkness is falling and the light is taking over. Um, they know that. So that's exactly what they're trying to do right now is
Yeah,
really what's that phrase? Draw at strings or something, pulling at
grasping at
strings,
straws.
grasping at straws. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
That's exactly what I keep imagining, like
Hmm.
grasping at straws, like don't know what to do except for destruction. We're gonna hide this or get their attention away or distract, with these distractions.
Yeah.
But it's not working anymore.
No, it's like, can maybe
It's
we could
not
keep them in
working
fear for
anymore.
one more day, or maybe we could divide them for one more day, like that type of intention. And I think it's also important, you know, taking judgment out of it. Like, these people are performing a really, like, their souls have come into those roles, into those positions, and they're very
Hmm.
important, right? Like, it's. I'm not saying that the things they do or in any way condone it, but I've had past lives that, took me a lot of healing. I was on the dark side. If you ever wonder why I wear a lot of black
Yes,
and
we
white,
all
it's
have been. Yes,
exactly. And
we
I
all
love that
have
you're
been.
wearing a light top and I'm wearing dark today. It's like, it's
And
this
I almost wore
contrast is in
black,
all of
but
us.
I
It's so
almost wore
funny.
black. And I said, "Oh, with the hair, it's too dark, And
Yeah.
I think in the wintertime, I'm more black hoodie, black,
Mhm.
darker hair, more, darker tops,
Mhm.
But it's fine. Embrace that darkness. You don't
Yeah,
have to
definitely.
be dressed in light all the time,
Yeah,
Um,
no, I
so
agree.
embrace
Um,
it.
Definitely. And as we come up on our time, um, just remembering that message you told me from my guides, like, you've got to rest. Especially if I'm running a training course
Yes.
a bit later
Yes.
to
Oh my goodness,
introduce the class
John.
to their spirit guides. Um, but yeah, I was fascinated in advice you have. So we've given, I feel like a lot of shared a lot of advice about how to, you know, raise your vibration, to
Yes.
think about your hygiene energetically,
Ooh,
spiritual
water. Water
interaction.
just
Water, yes.
drink water.
Yeah.
Lots of water. And I've been doing a few readings and that has come up with people,
Mm,
their water intake. So make sure you're drinking lots of water because that's our body is 75% water.
yeah.
Or either that or it's
Or
the
I
I
think it's
think it's the
higher,
same
like
as the
around 80 or
earth.
so. Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
It may be the same as the earth. I
Hmm.
don't know. But anyway, it has lots in there.
Yeah.
A huge high percentage, but it may be the same as the earth, how much
Yeah.
water we have in our bodies as how much is on the planet. Um, is what I just got. So um anyway, who knows? 75%, maybe more. I'll look it up probably after we're done. But drink lots of water. It could be
Yeah.
used for channeling and to get that
Yeah.
energy through there. So anybody who's watching this, if you're reading or watching this and you made it this far in the video, drink water.
Yeah. Absolutely. And my final advice also would be, and you do it so naturally, Sarah, is gratitude.
Yes.
And if you do a quick search on any of popular, search engines, and you search for something like an emotion to vibration chart, you'll see that the frequency of the number associated with gratitude, for example, is in an order of magnitude higher than something like shame. So, for
Oh,
example,
yes.
if I saw, a UFO, a UAP, or an interesting cloud or something in the sky right now, I filmed it with my phone, looked at the phone and felt shame, then it would be
Mhm.
pretty isolating, and I would, it wouldn't really go any further. If I see something, perceive something, and then I share my gratitude, like I put my
Yes.
hand on my heart and say, "Yeah, beautiful. It's so exciting. Thank you so much." And I see you. We're just like we're saying. Our guides and ETs. They're not gods, right? They don't know absolutely
Yes.
everything. So, but they will know for sure if you say thank you, and even the thank yous for trying, right? When you're looking at what you perceive as a blank sky, or you're inviting them into your home or your lawn or wherever it is, and you perceive that nothing happens, still say thank you. Thank
Oh,
yourself for trying.
absolutely.
Thank if you've
Absolutely.
any being that you've asked, like your guides, etc. Ask, thank them. And what that also does is say a bit like, if someone went to a restaurant and you weren't able to serve them food, but they were still really grateful, you're probably going to be happy that they come back, right? You're going to be
Oh,
happy that they
yeah.
try again. And I think that's a really lovely way
Yes.
to keep
That is,
perpetuating this
yes.
cycle.
And yeah, gratitude, gratitude. They love it. They love it. And you invite good things into your life.
Yeah.
So yeah, they just have a simple message and they always tell me like, it's so simple, people are making it very difficult. You
Hmm.
know, it is so simple. They just want us to love each other. They just want more love, more gratitude, more kindness, more compassion.
Yeah.
And they're just sitting there like, you have so much potential. Use it. Start using it. You
Yeah.
know, and my no doors opened for me until I came out with it,
Hmm.
until I started to release my videos or just talk about my spiritual awakening or whatever else.
Yeah.
That's when stuff started to happen. So always talk about it. There's nothing to be shameful or fearful about. Just get out there. Get your cameras, guys. Get your
Yeah.
cameras and video cameras and get out there. Doesn't matter if it's a cell phone or not. Get out there, start filming, and start showing us.
Yeah, definitely.
So open your own doors. You can do it. You're magical beings.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's such wonderful advice. Um, well, thank you so much, Sarah, for coming
Yes,
on.
thank
Oh, I,
you
I
for
could
having
talk
me.
talk for hours and hours.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
it's such fun, and yeah, we'd love to get together. Lovely to get together again and catch up on our journeys and experiences, um, and also yeah, just help inspire others. Just as you were saying, like encouraging people to share more. Doesn't it feel a bit
Yes.
like that's the tip of the iceberg? Is what we have a vague awareness
Well,
of what's
yes,
being
yes.
shared.
Oh, yes. Well, that's the only way we're going to get full disclosure,
Hmm.
is if we start sharing our experiences. It's us. We are it. We are the
We are
disclosure.
disclosure. Yeah, exactly. I love
So
that.
it's not going to be any kind of three-letter agencies. They will tiptoe around. They're going to continue to control the narrative
Hmm.
always. So
Yeah,
they're never going to fully disclose anything. So please stop waiting for that and do yourself a favor and get out there and be your own disclosure,
yeah.
you
I think
know?
that's so true and so empowering. Um,
Yes.
and it'll be old news when eventually
Oh,
one year
yeah.
some old agency somewhere goes, "Oh yeah, by the way, those things were real." It's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
but
like we already
it's old
know
news, right?
because
We already know. Just look,
yeah,
look, here's my friend.
99% of the right,
Yeah,
exactly.
hello. What do you
Yeah,
mean you're not real?
exactly. Yeah,
uh,
exactly. Yep, that's how
Wonderful.
it's going to be in the future. I would say more than 10 years from now, not before then. That's just what I'm getting. It's all different. people
Yeah.
are hearing all different, but we're going to start with more personal experiences, and then eventually down the road, they'll be walking with us.
Yeah.
So definitely prepare yourselves for contact, and the first step is getting out there and talking to them and trying to or attempting to make connection, your own connection with them.
Wonderful.
Yes,
So exciting. It's so funny because when you said like 10 years, it's like, you know what? That's nothing.
that's
And
nothing.
actually, I've got a lot to prepare for. I'm gonna like
Yes,
prepare a
we
spare
all
room.
do. Yes. Oh yeah, well, they don't need a bed. They don't need a bed.
Yeah, yeah.
And eventually we won't either.
Oh, that'll be cool. Um,
Hmm. That'll be longer though, that longer down the road.
that's true. It is. Yeah, I've
Hmm.
I've been to those futures, and yeah,
Yes.
they're really exciting.
Hmm.
Um, Wonderful. Well, I'll let you go. Thank you so much, Sarah. And
Okay. Thank you.
take good care of yourself. Keep your eyes in the skies and your
Yes,
heart
keep your
nice
eyes
and
on the
wide open.
sky, people. All right. Bye-bye,
Take care, everyone.
everyone.
See you. Bye.